Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्धदामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्कपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थितदद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Namaste once again, everyone. So, I think a few more people need to mark the attendance. Please do so. So, we were seeing Arjuna very painstakingly explaining to Krishna the consequences of fighting this war. It's not that Krishna doesn't know all these things. Huh? He is Sarvagya, he is omniscient and he knows everything. But as I said, Krishna is very patiently listening to Arjuna. Because Krishna knows one thing, being the karma phala data, the karmas will have an effect on everybody. And even this very Mahabharata war has come only because of the effect of these karmas. So Krishna knows all these things, and later on he will tell that Arjuna, you don't think that you are killing everybody, you are only a nimitta. Their death has already happened. In fact, that the time for all their death has already come. So you don't need to feel guilty that you are killing them. So all that we will see later. So he is just going on elaborating as if, it's a very big theory he is trying to expound as to what are the evils of a war like this Mahabharata war. And we were seeing the context of understanding the Varna Sankaraha. And in that context, we were discussing the importance of a stable family for the formation of a healthy psychological personality of a child quite early in the child's life itself. You can't develop a personality after the child has already grown 20 years old. It's all already done. Whatever the child was, whatever you could do as parents, you have already done. Now leave it to its karmas, its vasanas, and also the society in which the child is going to move for further development of the personality. And in that, we were discussing that about cultural values. They also need to be imbibed very, very early in the life. Because the child, he learns the cultural values from the parents initially by imitating them. And among the parents also, the mother is much more important, because mother is very intimate to the child right from conception and for a few years even after birth. All that we were discussing in the last class. So therefore, what Arjuna's point is, when families are destroyed in the absence of a protector, when everybody is killed in the war, then the women may be forced to take to adharmic ways for self-preservation, and therefore they may become corrupt. And if the girl child who is going to be a mother later does not develop the right cultural values, she will turn out to be a valueless mother. The mother who gives more importance to artha and kama, all materialistic pleasures, not even dharma. And she will only pass on those values to her children. And then what will happen is a vicious cycle is created. Generation after generation after generation, valueless mothers will only produce the next generation of valueless children. And then those valueless children will produce the next generation of valueless generation. And a time will come when all the values are utterly destroyed. So therefore, Arjuna said, Adharma abhibhavad pradushyanti kulastriyaha. So when the families are destroyed, the girl child gets spoiled, and when the girl child gets spoiled, she becomes a bad mother and unhealthy mother. And we were also seeing in this context of all these things that we discussed, the close connection between the institution of a family or institution of family and a dharmic way of life. So that when one is affected, the other also will be affected. When the family is destroyed, dharma is destroyed. And when dharma is destroyed, again the next generation family will also be destroyed. And we also saw that dharma, one of the important components of this dharma was the rituals. And rituals are necessary for communicating the values and attitudes. But dharma means there are three things: values, attitudes, and rituals. Values and attitudes are purely abstract. Therefore, we require rituals in order to communicate the values and attitudes to the children, rather. So they have to be converted into physical symbols, verbalized. So they provide these rituals, they provide the verbalization or physicalization of the abstract attitudes and values. So abstract values and attitudes are concretized, and then through these rituals, and thus we are able to communicate the values to the children. So whenever we talk of dharma, we must remember these three things: values, attitudes, and rituals. And if we actually observe all the religions, one aspect is very, very clear. All religions profess the same set of values and attitudes. You will not find much difference in the religions in terms of values and attitudes. The difference comes only when it comes to the rituals, which we find they vary from religion to religion. Even though, just to give you an example, all religions will say that you must respect others. So that value of respecting others being the same, the way it is communicated in different religions is different. In fact, even within one religion itself, the ritual may vary from community to community, from place to place. I can give you examples, like for example, in India, in the South Indian communities, when elders they come, we are supposed to do a Sashtanga Namaskaram to them. Whereas if you go to North India, when they see the elders, they don't do Namaskaram, they touch their feet and then do like this. So even within a particular religion, different areas, different communities, they may follow different ritual, but the idea is to communicate that value of respect. Even some people will just say Namaste. Another way of communicating respect. Namahate, Namaste. I salute you. So this is the importance of rituals. We must understand values and attitudes being more or less the same in all religions. The rituals can differ. In fact, very, very greatly they can differ. So while understanding this Varna Sankaraha, which means what? Intermixing of these Varnas. And Varnas here we mean Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. These are the 4 Varnas so far as our Sanatana Dharma is concerned. So from the standpoint of the difference in rituals, even though all of them may share the same values and attitudes, we need to understand this in the context of this Varna Sankara. I mean, if you take when the intermixing of marriages or this Varnas takes place in marriages, there will be an unavoidable confusion between the spouses. Because each of them would have been brought up in a background of different rituals, different traditions, etc. Now the confusion will be which one to follow and which one to communicate to the children. So there will be a confusion one way or the other. It has to be decided. So what is the safest course the families will adopt? They will slowly start giving up the rituals, because it is an area of conflict. So don't go there at all. And rituals will become lesser and lesser important. Then what will happen? The importance of the cohesiveness in the family, in the religion, in the community, or even in the society will start weakening. So one of the consequences of this Varna Sankaraha is sacrificing the rituals. That is, rituals becoming less and less and less. We did not theorize about all these things. In fact, we look around our own community, what is happening to what was happening in the previous generation, what is happening to this generation, what is happening to the next generation. We will ourselves realize all these things. How we are just sacrificing the rituals and in the garb of trying to become one with everybody and all that. Only we Hindus are doing it. Let me also tell you that. No other religion does this. They don't sacrifice their rituals at all. They are still steadfastly following their rituals. In fact, if you get married into some other religion, they force you to follow their rituals rather than they adopt into your rituals. This is what happens rather practically. So therefore, to follow or practice these attitudes and values, a person need not belong to any particular religion. All religions are okay from that point of view, no problem. But the particular religion becomes important only when I value a particular way of performing the rituals. In fact, Swami Paramathananda ji gives a nice example. Suppose we have to celebrate a birthday. Our religion, Hinduism, has got its own way. We light up a lamp, do Ayushyomam, and some puja and all that. In Christianity, they blow out a lighted lamp. Now, I'm not getting into whether value judgment, whether this is correct or that is correct or not. That is their ritual. This is our ritual. For us, this is okay. For them, that is okay. But what I want to highlight is, see, the rituals could be for the same thing, for the same birthday celebration, the rituals could be diametrically opposite. So, what distinguishes between a Hindu and a Christian is this: how you are, in what way you are performing a ritual. And therefore, once the rituals are given lesser and lesser importance, what will happen? The religion segregation will go away, community segregation will go away, and there will be utter confusion as to how the values have to be verbalized or physicalized, or for that matter, communicated to the next generation. So this is another fallout of this Varna Sangraha. And there is one more consequence which is worse than these things. Because as we have seen, the family institution was required for three purposes. One is for the rituals preservation and propagation of values and attitudes. Another is fulfillment of Artha Kama. So these three things: preservation of rituals, propagation of values and attitudes, and fulfillment of Artha Kama. These three things were very, very important for the sake of the family institution. The family institutions actually exist only for that purpose. And when we talk of rituals, and especially in that context, Vedic rituals, the Vedic rituals can be performed only in Grihasthashrama. You know the reason why? Because whenever we perform a Vedic ritual, a dakshina is to be given for these rituals to the priest. And the brahmachari, a vanaprasthi and a sannyasi cannot give any dakshina because they cannot earn according to our varnashrama dharma. Varna dharma and according to our ashrama dharma. Brahmachari is supposed to study, he is not supposed to earn. Vanaprasthi is supposed to have given up everything and gone into preparation for sannyasa. Sannyasi, of course, has renounced everything, so he also cannot give any dakshina to anybody. So, for only a grihastha, a married person, is eligible for performance of the Vedic rituals. The rituals are performed by men, but the presence of their spouse is important in most of the rituals. I'm just trying to highlight why the family, is important in that context, why the stability of the family is important. Even purta karmas, like reaching out karmas, like doing annadana. Annadanam also can be done only by a grihastha. The other three varnas, brahmachari and other three in the other three ashramas, they can only receive the dana. A brahmachari can receive bhiksha, vanaprastha can receive bhiksha, sannyasi can receive bhiksha, but they cannot give because for their own subsistence, they are depending on others. How they can give it to anybody? And that is why a family, and that too a stable family, becomes very important for performance of the rituals. The whole system is like that. In fact, it is the grihastha's responsibility to take care of the entire society. And if these performance of rituals are going to be dropped, what will happen? The society will start, the stability of the society will start shaking, because before that the family's stability would have started shaking. So this Varna Sankaraha will lead to dropping of these rituals. Now let us consider the importance of a stable family for Artha. Artha means, we all know, it refers to security. Earlier, we had joint families, and security was one of the considerations for the stability, for a stable family life. And the joint family system provided for this. There was a continuity in taking care of people in the old age. Children are born, there are a lot of people around to take care of all the requirements of the new mother and the new child. But now what is happening? We see around the world, changes are taking place in government policies, the increasing role being played by all these NGOs, these non-government institutions. Doles are given by governments for unemployed people, and even married people for children and all, like Canada and all that. For all their citizen children and all, they give a lot of assistance from the government. So what is happening is, the Artha, the security, financial security, old age security is available without a family also. It is being provided by the government. So what is happening? First of all, rituals, importance gone. So stability of the family gets affected to some extent. Then stable family was required for Artha security. That is also losing its importance, because that role is being taken care of by other institutions and government also. And let us look at Kama, the third one, sense pleasures. They are also available outside the family life now. If a person has got money, he can get all pleasures that he wants. Security, he can order. Rituals, he does not believe. And values and attitudes do not require a family life. So without a family life, without getting married, one can just practice values and attitudes, and nothing else is required. Family dependence on family life is almost gone. So now everywhere, in fact, the next generation, children are asking what is the need for the institution of the family. And that's why I am told that in advanced society and all, this family was a entity because of which lot of legal issues were that is, laws were framed, rather, like the laws relating to transfer of property or inheritance and all that. Now, with these family institutions slowly collapsing, I am told, I don't know how far it is true, they are thinking of this non-legalizing this family. And somewhere this has practically happened, like live-in relationship. Because they feel that if they get legally married, when they want to go their own way, practice Varna Sankaraha more and more. And they will get into all legal proceedings and legal tangles and all that, settlement, and so many headaches are there. So don't have all those problems. Just have live-in relationships, get your Artha and Kama, everything through that. Rituals in any case is not required at all, because you have come far away from rituals. So family life, what is the use? So the couples, they say, as long as we like each other, we will live together. And when we stop liking each other, you go your way, I go my way. This is what is actually started happening in the Western world, and slowly this is being the influence is happening, is taking place in our society also. So now the basic question is, what is the utility of the family life? Earlier, the family life was an imperative to maintain religion. Of course, express this in the form of certain karmas like Vaidika karmas and all that. And even if they are also dropped, a natural question which will be raised by the children of both the genders. Why should I get married and set up a family and get into all sorts of problems? And mind you, I'm not exaggerating. This is the real issue we as parents of children of marriageable age face. You can touch your heart. If you have a son or a daughter of a marriageable age, I am sure that majority of us are facing, I am facing it with my son. He keeps asking, you people want me to get married. Why should I get married? What am I going to get? The only thing he says that I have observed all married couples day in and day out, they are keeping on fighting each other, fighting with each other. That's what they do. And he says the husband is trying to change the wife and the wife is trying to change the husband. And this is what ends up in both fighting with each other day in and day out. And they don't even bother. They fight in front of children, wherever they even in a social gathering, they will start the fight. And it is very awkward and embarrassing for the children when they have this kind of a situation. So he keeps asking, why should I get married? Of course, then I told him, no, Vedic karmas, this, that, and all. He has agreed to marry, of course, not that he is rebelling, but it's a very objectively, he asked that question. So this is what is happening. And one more angle to that is, many parents, they have stopped or dropped performing many rituals. In fact, we are supposed to, the annual, at least in the Brahmin community, community is supposed to do, but at least Brahmin community was earlier consistently following that. The Shraddham, annual Shraddham for their ancestors, for their mains. They were performing, with homam and all that. Now that has been given up and everybody, Hiranyama, Panditla, we will do it. Just give some, banana, raw banana and some rice to one priest and give some dakshina, no matter over. So the main ritual, because this system of this Hiranya Rupam, of performing this Shraddha, it was not a rule. It is not a rule in the Vedas. It is an exception for some reason. If you are unable to perform it in the proper way, in the way it has been prescribed in the Vedas, this is the Vedas provide an exception. Now exception has become a rule. Many people don't even know how to say Abhivade. They don't even know their gotras. Many children don't know what gotra they belong to. They don't know the names of their grandparents. And because they have not been, they must have that even after Upanayanam ceremony and all that, 2 days, 3 days, they will perform Sandhya Vandanam. That too, if the priest comes and does it. After that, even Abhivade and all, they forget which Veda belong to, which Sutra they belong to. Nothing they know. And all these things are relevant only for performance of rituals. So rituals itself have been given up. What is the point of, remembering all these things? So once the karmas go away, the family will get disintegrated. And the next consequence will be that once the family gets disintegrated, in the next generation, no karma will be there. And not only karma will not be there, even values and attitudes cannot be there, because without a stable family, how are we going to teach values and attitudes to the next generation? All these becomes very, very relevant questions which we have to reflect upon. In fact, all these, thanks to our acharyas, what Vyasacharya is aiming to do through the words of Arjuna is making us think that where are you going, you human beings? Respecting each other is very fine. For the sake of, respecting other religions, what we have started doing is we have started compromising on our own religious practices. And we try to justify, because we are intelligent people, we can easily justify everything. Vasudeva Kutumbakam, you say, oh, everybody is the same family, so it doesn't matter. So all those things, people try to justify that. At least present generation, I would say these attitudes, values are still preserved to some extent. But of course, many of the rituals have been dropped. But next generation, or probably the one which follows, even values and attitudes will go away. No family, no rituals, nothing to physicalize or verbalize the values and attitudes. And therefore, Arjuna says, Varna Sankara. The women will lose their predominant position in the family. And when this happens, there will be the destruction of this entire society. All these things we need to actually ponder over, reflect. And then whatever best we can do for our family, we must try to do. So now let us come back to the shloka. Here in the shloka, Arjuna addresses Krishna as what? He says, Hey Varshneya. Very interesting. Because he is pointing out to Krishna that Krishna himself belongs to the Varshneya family. Vrishni Kula Samudbhuta is Varshneya. So Arjuna is saying, Krishna, you know the importance of the family. Importance of, you belong to a beautiful family. So you know the importance, what a family is, what a family life is. Therefore, Varshneya, Strishu Dushtasu, once the women are forced by circumstances to take to unbecoming ways, Jayate Varna Sankaraha. There will be utter confusion with regard to Varnashrama Dharma. Now, what is this Varnashrama Dharma? Because he has said Varna Sankaraha, Varna Sankaraha. This Varnashrama Dharma, we will see later in, elaborately, we will see that in another context rather. But I will give you a brief picture of the Varna Dharma so that we can understand this portion. In the Varna Dharma, Varna means, as I told you, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, 4 Varnas. The Vedas prescribe certain duties for each class of people. Brahmanas have got certain duties, that is cultural duties. Kshatriyas have got certain political duties, providing protection to the all the other 3 Varnas. Vaishyas have got economic duties, and Shudras have got supporting duties, supporting other 3 Varnas. Now, all the 4 duties are extremely important for the growth of a society. Cultural duties are important because without culture, a nation will collapse. Actually, culture is like a Sukshma Shariram of a nation. Civilization is the Stula Shariram of a nation. Therefore, cultural duties are as important as our own subtle, body, the one which is actually working without our seeing it. And of course, similarly, political duties, there must be a government. How important it is, we all know. And that too, that should be a stable government. Then the economic duties are also equally important. And support services, supporting system for all these things are also very, very important for the sustenance and growth of a society or for a even nation. So now Vedas say that everyone should take one of these 4 duties, either based on birth or based on character. You choose your duty, profession, whether you want to be a politician, whether you want to be a businessman. So you have a choice. You can choose based upon your birth or your character. Guna. Now imagine a situation when there is a society which values only money. There is no value for culture. There is no value for governance, political values. Only money is the most important thing. So when money is the only thing which is valued, then what profession will everybody choose? They will not choose a profession based on their birth. They will not choose a profession based on their character. They will choose a profession which will bring them maximum money. And for that, they will join schools and college and will try to get a good job. The only purpose in life will be study well, do well, get a good job, earn money, do well in the job, more money, more money, more money. 40 years, 45 years, I am looking for retirement. I want to earn as much as possible by the time I am 40. After that, I just want to retire. So everybody is looking for least work, no work, preferably, and maximum salary. Now imagine once a society is materialistic and values money, you will find every member will be after money, and a particular class which was devoted to the cultural growth of this nation, nobody will be interested in that profession. Now what is that profession? Learning the scriptures, following and propagating the Dharma Shastras, which was traditionally the exclusive role of the Brahmanas. Patanam, Pathanam, Acharanam. This was the role of the Brahmanas. They should learn, they should teach, and they should also follow those what they are teaching. Therefore, we require a group in the society called Brahmanas whose exclusive job is contributing to the cultural growth, religious growth, and spiritual growth of the society. And Varna Sankara, what it does, because the focus is on earning money, everybody will take every other profession, but nobody will come forward to study and teaching the scriptures. Just imagine how many Brahmins were there 2 generations, 3 generations ago doing yajnas and all in the olden days. Now we find people who are born in Brahmin families. Very few of them continue that profession. But most of them are taking up Kshatriya's duties, that is becoming politicians, Vaishya duties, Shudra's duties. So Brahmins are all turning to other professions, other duties, but the others are not coming to becoming Brahmins. They are not trying to come and learn the scriptures and propagate the values which are there in the Dharma Shastras and all that. That they are not doing, but we are going away. Brahmins are going away from their traditional profession to other professions. So what will happen to the society? Over a period of time, culturally, the society will go down. There will be a time when there will come a time, now of course it has not yet come, people will ask, what is Sandhya Vandanam? What is Gayatri? So Varna Sankara means there is confusion among duties. There will be no one to preserve and propagate the culture, both religious and spiritual. And they are almost there, in fact. Once this religious and spiritual culture is gone, we will get a society which has got only a cutthroat philosophy. By hook or crook, make money. Eat, drink, make merry. That is the philosophy within the society. Charvaka society is what it is called. And that's why we are reading. You just open a newspaper or any media, this thing. What do you get? Crimes, rape, murder, all these things. And that will be the destruction of humanity. And Krishna is now saying, Arjuna is saying, oh Krishna, all these will happen when families become unstable. And war is the cause for the families to become unstable. Now the question is, one may ask, so what if Varnas are destroyed? Now this question, so what, can be always asked at any stage. People will die, so what? You won't be alive, so what? Your family will miss you, so what? There will be confusion, so what? Let there be confusion. All this, these days, people have developed that kind of attitude to ask, so what? What is the big thing about it? So in anticipation of such a response, Arjuna continues with the next sloka, 42nd sloka. He says, so what is not there, I will now tell you more consequences of what is this Varna Sankara is going to lead to. So I will read the sloka. Sankaro narakayaiva kulagnanam kulasya cha patanti pitaro hesham lupta pindodaga kriyah. Anvaya is kulasya sankaraha kulagnanam cha narakaya eva within bracket bhavati hi esham pitaraha patanti lupta pindodaga kriyaha santaha. You can add santaha in the end. The meanings are kulasya sankaraha, the intermixture of the families. Kulagnana, for the destroyers of the families. Cha means and. Narakaya eva bhavati, will definitely be the cause of hell. Hi esham pitaraha, indeed their ancestors, patanti, fall. Lupta pindodaga kriyaha, being deprived of offering of water, food and water. Now here we need to understand what this Arjuna is highlighting. So he already said the intermixture of the family, this Varna Sankara, will definitely cause the families to become unstable. And it will also cause hell for the destroyers of the family. But it doesn't stop there. He says their ancestors also will suffer because of that. Previous generation who are no more alive, but they are in some loka, they will also suffer because of that. Why? How they will suffer? Because there will be nobody offering them food and water, praying for them, doing the monthly tarpanas and annual shraddhas and all. There won't be anybody doing that, because of which they will suffer. So what Arjuna is saying, it is not only the Varna Sankaraha, that is the confusion or intermixture, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra will take place. Even Mata Shankaraha, religious mixture also takes place. Even though the attitude part of the dharma may remain, even though the value part of dharma may remain, but the ritual part of dharma cannot remain because of this Varna Sankaraha. Again, Swami Paramatmananda gives an example. One parent belongs to Hindu religion, another parent belongs to Christian religion. So what Hindu religions believe in doing certain rituals for their departed souls. for their ancestors and mains. Whereas Christian religion, they have a different ritual for that, which one they will follow. So they should go to the temple or they should go to the church. What will be the confusion, on what basis they will decide? Eventually, what will happen in the interest of peace in the family, both will decide that neither I will go to the temple nor you go to the church. So that's a compromise formula. No conflict. Or some may be, initially little more accommodative. Both will go to the church and both will go to the temple also, which is still okay. But eventually, if they are, wanting to follow their own rituals, this will be a consequence. So there will be a confusion. So Arjuna is pointing out here, the ritual part of religion will have to be given up. And then what will happen? That will affect the ancestors also. Because rituals, every country, as I told, we discussed in the last class, have got rituals. Nobody can avoid rituals. Even when we watch Olympic Games and all that, we see the flag hoisting is a ritual. And we have got the same thing in our temples also, flag hoisting. So all those, importance of rituals. So without rituals, nobody can survive. So according to Arjuna, when these rituals goes away, then what will it lead to? It will lead to Narakaya eva, to Narakaya alone. Because all karmas are sacrificed. And Naraka for whom? He says Kulagnanam Kulasya. Both for the victor on the war as well as the vanquished, the defeated one. Because both of them are responsible for the losing of all the values and religious practices. So both of them will go to Naraka. This is all Arjuna's views. It is in his moha followed by his deep shoka, he is coming out with all these things. Then he says, Patanti pitaro hesham lupta pindo daga kriya hai. Actually, we will see later, we will discuss about what rituals every astika, every religious person should follow. The scriptures actually prescribe what is called Pancha Mahayajnas, which should be done every day. I will not go into Pancha Mahayajnas now. Another opportunity we will get, I will explain about Pancha Mahayajnas. In that Pancha Mahayajnas, there is one very important yajna called Pitri Yajna. Pitri Yajna is our respect of worship for our forefathers. That is Pitri Yajna. Pancha Mahayajna is Deva Yajna, Pitri Yajna, Manushya Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, and which is the fifth one? Anybody?
Brahma Yajna.
Brahma Yajna. So, in fact, every person who has undergone this Upanayanam ceremony, which is the three varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishyas, all these three are supposed to have gone through the Upanayanam ceremony. They would have got the Brahma Upadesha. And once they have got the Brahma Upadesha, they are supposed to perform Sandhya Vandanam 3 times a day. Pratah Sandhya, Madhyanikam and Sayam Sandhya. And in the afternoon, after Madhyanam, they are supposed to every day perform this Brahma Yajna. And the Brahma Yajna has to be followed by Deva Rishi Pitri Tarpana. This is what is the prescription of the scriptures. So this Pitri Yajna has to be done every day through this Pitri Tarpanam during when you do Madhyana. Now don't ask me what is Madhyana. Huh? So what is the the significance behind it? Because the Vedas considered that the blessing of our forefathers, our ancestors, is very, very important. It's required for our growth, whether it is material growth or spiritual growth. And if you actually observe, especially in our community and all that, is that right now in Brahmin community where the marriages are performed in a particular way. In fact, every important religious function is, first of all, after the Vratam, a very important Shraddham called Nandi Shraddham is performed. Not only in marriages, even Upanayanam ceremony, everywhere this Nandi Shraddham is very, very important rather. And that Shraddham is for what? Invocation of the grace of the forefathers. And that is very, very important. In fact, if you have got a little bit inclination towards astrology and all, Jyotisha, and if you are passing through some very difficult times, if you take your horoscope to a good Jyotisha, a person who knows the subject, he will tell you two things important in you. There is a Pitri Shapam. Do these things for the Pitri Shapam to go away. Or he will say there is a Kuladaiva Preeti is required. There is a family deity which has been ignored, neglected for maybe few generations. Discover that family deity and do some puja and all that, and to please the family deity. These are all, people who don't want to believe in this may not believe in it. They have got the choice. But this is how the Vedas, Vedangas and all Jyotisha Shastram is part of a Vedas. So, these important things in our life, our ancestors, praying to them is very important. Praying to Bhagavan is important. And also, our own family deities are very, very important. They are the ones which will actually protect us, and they also help us in progressing in our life. So what Arjuna is saying, that once the dharma goes away, all these rituals go away, values may remain, attitudes may remain, but when the karmas go away, lupta pindodaga kriyaha, the ancestors will not get their food and water. Of course, these days it has become very fashionable for people to say, I don't believe in this Shraddham and all that. I don't believe in this Tarpan. This is a fashion. Many people we have heard saying that. And by that they want to demonstrate that they are very rational persons. They are not, religious bigots. So here Arjuna says, Lupta Pindodaga Kriyaha. Our forefathers will be deprived of Udagam and Pindam. Shraddha. Pinda Kriya, Udaga Kriya. Udaga Kriya means Tarpanam. Pinda Kriya means the annual Shraddha. Lupta means will be deprived of. So forefathers will be deprived of all these karmas. In fact, Swami Paramatmananda says that many people come to him and ask him whether they can replace the Shraddha karmas with some Annadanam, poor feeding, old age home and all that. And he says, the answer by our scriptures is they cannot be replaced. They can only be an addition to the rituals. They are all Purta karmas. So poor feeding, helping the poor is also equally important in our scriptures, which is coming in the part of Manushya Yajna, in the Panchamaha Yajna. But this is, the Shraddha Tarpanam is Pitri Yajna. We cannot combine the two. Manushya Yajna cannot replace Pitri Yajna, And Pitru Yajna cannot replace Manushya Yajna. Manushya Yajna can supplement the Pitru Yajna. In fact, that is what we do when we feed the two Brahmanas in the Shraddha, 2 or 3, whatever number of Brahmanas. That is a part of Pitru Yajna and also a way of performing Manushya Yajna. Even though the Pitris are invoked in those Brahmins. So this is what is the, we need to understand the significance of all these things in our Shastras. So what Arjuna is saying that eventually, not only these people, this Kulagnanam and Kulasya, these people will suffer, but their forefathers also will suffer. And Hesham Pitaro Patanti. Of course, we must remember that Arjuna is giving all these arguments from the point of view of the society of which he was a part. In today's context, it will be for us to actually, visualize all these things, that there was such a beautiful society earlier. But what we have to understand is this is the objective assessment of what Arjuna's view in the context of the Varnashrama Dharma. What was important and all that. So he says that when this Varnashrama Dharma will have no relevance, once the rituals goes away, even morals of the society will start coming down. So earlier he talked about Kulastriya Pradushyanti, here he is talking about Lupta Pindodaka Kriya. Now, this Naraka Eva, which he is saying, what is the significance? One of the significance of performing the Shraddhas is that our ancestors, when they were living on this earth, they would have earned a lot of punyas and papas. So the Shastras say, and because based on that punyas and papas, they would be in some other form. They would have taken some other body. That body could be an animal body, could be a tree body, or even a Devata body. In those bodies, they will not earn any punya or papa. So after that karma is over, because of which they took the body, they will come back to the earth and be born as a human being and earn more punya and papa. So what is happening is our attempt in our life should be to reduce the papas, even if we are not able to earn more punyas. So what the Shastras say is that by performance of the Shraddhas by the people, the papas of the forefathers, they get diluted. With the result that even though they cannot do anything to dilute their papa, their lineage can actually help them. And if we don't perform these rituals, what will happen? Their papas will remain and even they will have a fall from their position. And they will also, if it is there, if the papas are so high, they will also go to Naraka. Naraka, of course, is Vedic equivalent of hell rather. Right, of course. Because Naraka is a place where you go and come back. Concept of hell is in another religion rather. There is this eternal damnation kind of a thing. We don't have those beliefs at all. Okay. So these people would incur papa and after that they would go to Naraka, the place of, you can call it a place of pain for a period of time. And all this because this Varna Sankara. This is what Arjuna says will happen. So people will be doing things that are not proper and would eventually end in Naraka. So ancestors also will be affected. The wrongdoings of the ancestors of the previous 3 generations, they were traditionally neutralized by the prayers performed like Tarpanam, Shraddham and all that. And those karmas, as I said, neutralize their papas. But if they are not performed, what will happen? If they are not given Pinda Udaga Kriya, and if this ritual is gone away, when water is offered with religious chants along with, Pinda is a ball of cooked rice. Nobody will perform on these rituals. So, Patanti Pitaraha. So they will actually fall from their position. This is what he says. So we will see more of this 42nd sloka in the next class. Okay. I think some disturbance is still coming. Somebody is unmuting, muting. Anyhow, I'll say the prayers and then we can see their questions. We'll have a satsanga. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Raghuji, after that, I have a question.
Yes.
Thank you, Guruji.
Waiting
Hari
for. Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Mama.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank
Thank you,
thank
Guruji.
you. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Okay, the question I have, Raghuji,
Mhm.
Pitru Shapam, do I interpret as not Shapam, but the consequence of our not doing the things comes in the form of Shapam? Because is that how we interpret that rather than saying Pitru is giving Shapam? You know what I'm saying? Is that the right interpretation?
That's right.
Because
You see, Shapam word is used in order to be, to put the what
Fear.
you call it,
Put the
fear
fear.
in you. rather.
I
Right.
figured that's what my question was, right? Even Swamiji says, when you do something, when somebody gives you some trouble, don't blame them, but your bad action, they are, our consequences is coming through them. That's what. So I think Pitru Shabam is also the same way we have to interpret,
Yeah,
right?
we have to see what we have to actually understand is the basic thing. Whatever we want to accomplish in our life, first requirement is we need to put in those efforts for accomplishing that, correct?
Yes.
But that effort alone is not enough. It has to be supplemented by two other factors. Two factors which are in the form of grace, in the form of blessing. One is the blessing from Bhagavan, Ishvara. Another is blessing of our ancestors.
Yes. Yes.
These two are very important. So when they say Shabam and all that, there is nothing. It's just to put a fear in our mind.
Yeah, that's what I thought,
Otherwise, we must, if we are mature people, we will understand that these two blessings I require along with my effort for me to achieve anything in my life. So I need to do everything that is required for earning that grace. That is how it is.
Thanks for the clarity. I kind of knew the answer, but it's kind of reaffirmation because I didn't think of it as a Shapam.
You have to understand. There is nothing. Shapam. Why should Pitru? Does any mother curse their child? This curse business, Shapam business, and all has come from other religion. Our religion doesn't talk. It only talks of earning grace. How to earn grace? It teaches us.
Put the fear. That I get it.
In Laukika, this in practice, it has become. If you don't do it. See, like we tell the children, in the night, they will, small children, baby, they won't eat. If you don't eat, I will call these puchandiyas. Some, I will.
You know what they used to, Guru Raghuji, they used to say, Ratta kanna watta mookan.
Yeah.
What? It's a
All that,
normal
every family has got a very favorite bad character.
Yeah,
to protect the child so that it should eat. Right?
Yes, exactly.
That is exactly the same thing. That's how humans, they will understand that language only. So that is told.
Okay, thank you, Raghuji. Thank you.
Astrological part, they only raise this, like if you don't do Tarpana or the Stardom, you get a Pitru Shabam.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
Guruji.
is true. I mean, it's not only that. You see, ultimately, what is Shraddham through rituals and all that, that is remembering them, and then that is Shastras say that whatever you are offering, it goes and reaches them. So we have to, if you have Shraddha in Shastra, we have to believe it. Don't ask how it reaches them and things like that and all. I don't see anything going. That's why they say feed the crows. Through the crows it goes, and so many things that they are there. But for our see, our aim is what we are Vedantins. We don't get into detail into about all these things. For us, we have to understand what could be the consequences for the society as a whole, because we are worried. Our not worried, I would say. Our concern is that everybody should be happy. Everybody is loka samasta sukhino bhavantu is our motto. So if everybody is happy, we must know to teach people, to tell people what all things they should do in order to achieve everything that they want to achieve in their life, either materially or spiritually, and be happy. So that is for that purpose we have to learn all these things. That's all. But they're important. I have personally experienced, whatever I am telling you, I have personally experienced Kuladaivam, all these things, I did not know. Even my father could not tell me who our Kuladaivam is. So I was trying to find out. Luckily, from somewhere, one of my cousins, he was suffering a lot of problems in his family and all that. One day he called me and he told me that, we should go to our Kuladaivam temple. I said, who is our Kuladaivam? Then he gave me, this is the temple, our Kuladaivam. I asked him, how did you know this, sir? Because even my father did not know it. He said, no, in Kerala, they have got this prashnam, through this Nambudris, they actually find out from the family. So that Nambudri told, this is the Kuladaivam. And then I went to the temple, and there was one old person who was there living next to the temple, who is a very distant relative of my father. When I met him, he narrated the whole story, how that temple became our Kuladaiva. I mean, these are all, I have, Satyam is there in all these things. If we don't want to believe, it's a different story. But everything, Kuladaivam, grace, the grace of generally Ishvara, grace of others, all are important for us. And whatever prescription is there in the Shastras for earning that grace, we have to do it. That is what we should do.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank
Nice
you.
explanation.
Any other question? Yes, Sani ji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Let me know. Somebody is going on unmuting. And the background noise is coming. Okay, now
Yeah, it is from mine also. There may be, because the children are playing.
playing. Okay, right. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Acharya, you said that we have to fulfill Artha and Kama. Can you just brief me what did you mean by that?
See, Artha is, okay, let me just take a step back.
No, you fulfill Artha and Kama.
Fulfill means one of the goals of our life is security, right? Right from the childhood, security is Artha. Security is called Artha from a Purushartha point of view, goal. So fulfill means that every stage in our life, we are doing certain actions in order to fulfill those requirements of security for us, whether it is physical security or financial security or emotional security. All those securities we have to fulfill. One of the important role of a family is fulfillment of this Artha, which is one of the 4 goals of the human life. Kama is pleasures, sense pleasures. Sense pleasures is a very wide range of sense pleasures can be there. Sense pleasures just by acquiring some small thing, right up to the sense pleasures at the extreme level, you can imagine all that comes under Kama. Right? fulfillment of those sense pleasures also is part of a family, because these are prescribed only for artha and kama are important for whom? For a grihastha only. They are prescribed mostly because they are part of the purusharthas. Sannyasi will not have any artha, any kama. He has renounced all artha, kama, dharma also he has renounced. So he has got only moksha as his goal now, nothing else. Whereas a brahmachari is still not got into a situation of pursuing artha and kama. He has been brought up in the family, he is there in the Gurukulam, and he is being provided everything that he needs during his student life. So artha and kama, they become very, very important part of a grihastha's life, and then by consequence, it becomes a very important part of a family. So the family is required for three purposes. Fulfillment of artha, that is fulfilling all our security needs. As I told you, what type of security you can imagine, all those security needs. Fulfillment of all our goals for getting pleasure, happiness through pleasure. And of course, performance of rituals. Because without the grace of all the unseen powers, whether the unseen powers are relating to Daivam or whether they are relating to Pitru, this artha and kama will face lot of obstacles. Fulfillment of artha and kama will face lot of obstacles. So if we want to fulfill our artha and kama without obstacles, this grace is required. For the grace, rituals are required. For performing rituals, family is required. For family, stability of the family is required for this. And when all this intermixture, Varna Sankaraha is taking place, all these become casualties. That is what is the whole thinking process of Arjuna.
May I ask something, Guruji?
Yes, Premaji.
In the context of falling, as Arjuna says, there are religions that believe that you go out like a torchlight and there is nothing else after, and you don't have another another body.
Yeah.
In our tradition and in the Jewish tradition, the tarpanam is there. They do whatever is necessary. And I have a vague idea that I have listened to people doing the tarpanam, where at the end of it, the result of whatever I'm doing, let it also go, like Samasta Loka Sukhina Bhavantu, to people who have not, who don't have children, for people who are unable to do these things. So how are these people who Arjuna thinks are fallen will ever be uplifted if they don't have ancestors or children or a progeny to continue the process of bringing them back into the human form and to be able to proceed on their journey towards liberation?
See, that is what his point is, that if this, by doing this, you will be helping them in diluting or neutralizing their papa karmas which is there in their account. When you don't do this, they will continue to have those papa karmas, and in future those papa karmas will give them a life which
more
will
suffering,
be lesser life than what they are having now. It may worse life. So it becomes a duty for us to perform these things rather. And in fact, you are absolutely right, because whenever we are performing this tarpanam, known, unknown ancestors, in fact, all these Shraddha karmas, it is said that 7 lineages are helped in this. We can go into detail, but it is not only your own parent, the performer who is performing their own parents. It is the spouse family, sister's family. So 7 different families, their ancestors get benefit by one person performing this. That is what the Shastras say. So it is again the idea is that by my action, let everybody benefit. Maximum people benefit. So that is all there in our system. Well, other people don't follow, we don't need to worry about it. They've got their own justifications for that. But from our point of view, which is what I would personally call it, what values and attitudes are talking about. We are not talking about values and attitudes in our interaction between living human beings. We are talking about values and attitudes to things which we can't see, which we can't observe, which is the reality of this entire prapancha. It is there. There is a Pitraloka. There is a Brahmaloka. All these lokas are there. Celestials are there. We may not be able to see them. But our values and attitudes, they go out to this entire, all things that is there in the prapancha, whether animate or inanimate. That is how our religion is construct is there. So we just have to appreciate that and live those values.
Now, my confusion was once the subtle body, or if you want to call it, the last time we discussed the pretas, the pishachas, the brahma rakshasas, etc. So even without receiving any of these, they fall into lower wombs where they have to suffer more.
We don't know. See, the thing is, actually, it's not a subtle body. It is the Karana Sharira in which all these are stored. All Papa and Punya, they are stored in the Karana Shariras of those Jivas. Correct? So we don't know what is there in the Karana Sharira. Our assumption is that they have got lot of Papas, because of which whatever Jiva Yoni they have taken now, the next Yoni will be worse than this. So the worst case scenario assumption is there. This is the typical management approach. In the worst case scenario, what will you do? So what we are trying to do by doing all these rituals, we are saying that whatever papas are there, let them get diluted. Once they get diluted, that means whatever punyas are there, they are there. So they may be able to get a balance where the next birth for them could be a human birth. And in the human birth, if they get little bit enlightened, they will be doing all the right things in order to further reduce their papa, gain Chitta Shuddhi, come to Vedanta, go to Bhagavad Gita, then go to Upanishads and gain moksha. Because moksha is the ultimate goal. We must not forget that. Artha Kama Dharma is not the ultimate goal. Parama Purushartha is moksha only. And every jiva has to reach there. Our contribution for our ancestral jivas, or for that matter, I said 7 this lineages jivas, our contribution is that by doing these prayers, the Shraddha, Tarpanam and all that, we are trying to reduce their papas so that they get an opportunity to be born as a human being and then pursue the spiritual life from there. That is our contribution. That is how we have to understand this whole thing.
Thank you, Guruji, because I had conveniently forgotten about the causal body. I was more concerned that that's why.
The causal body is the main important thing. That is where, that's the hard drive where everything is getting stored.
Right. So, thank you, Guruji. That was very kind.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Guruji.
Yeah.
Guruji, I just wanted to ask one question. What is the fate of the people who don't have any progeny? That is, what will be the fate of those people then?
I told you, whenever we are doing Tarpanam, the last, after doing Tarpanam for the 3 generations on the father's side and 3 generations on the mother's side, Jnata Jnata Vargadvaya Pitri Swadha Namastarpayami. Then we say, whoever does not have any progenies, who does not have male progeny to do, this Tarpanam I am making for all of them. So it is not restricted only to our ancestors. It's such a beautiful concept. I mean, if we understand the mantras and their meanings, such a beautiful context that we are actually people who we even don't know that they exist. For them also, we are offering this Udaka Kriya. This month, every month we offer this Udaka Kriya. So, if you don't have a project, as I told you, seven lineages are there. I can, maybe in the next class I will tell you what are the 7 sisters family, then mother's family. I'm just because this karma kanda business, I'm not very sure about it.
The priest said it during the Malaya Paksham, even friend, close friend.
Yes, they all come. So everybody who don't get it, they will get an opportunity by our performance. Is it not a beautiful thing, rather?
Absolutely.
So, and so what happens? Not only our ancestors' grace we get the grace of all those unknown people also.
Yeah.
Yata, Agnyata, I don't even know them.
Them.
I get their grace also. Then will not my life be just beautiful and always happy with that? This is this is how we have to understand our religion.
Except
One,
please.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Past 2 years back, I go to the temple Hiranyamada daughters. So I go and my father cannot do it because he is very
old.
It's okay to do that.
Yeah. See, Shastra provides for everything. When it is not possible for health reasons, for anything, for example, on a Shraddha, today's situation is like that. See, I went to Kuwait. There are no priests in Kuwait. So for 2-3 years, I couldn't do any Shraddha there, right? So then I was always, that feeling was there that, why did God send me to this place where there is nobody there? I can't do Shraddha. But at least what I used to do, I used to take some rice and, some vellam, this, good. Because there is an ocean there, right? Arabian Sea is there. So I went to the sea. I will take only just wear one towel, go inside the sea little bit. My son will be there with me. I will just take one bath, remembering my parents and ancestors, and offer that rice and good in that sea. This is what I did. Then I found out that in Bombay, there is an institution, Dharmishta Mitran, who have got a center where they actually perform everything that they do. Priests they arrange, food they cook, everything. You just have to 5 people can go perform the Shraddham and eat and go away. Every year, then me and my wife, we used to come here for performing my parents' Shraddham, and we used to perform, come in the morning, straight away go there. They got room also to stay and all that. Go there, take bath and all that, perform the Shraddham, and then evening, that is night, take the flight, go back to Kuwait the next day morning. We did it for almost 6-7 years like that. So when we are sincere, Bhagavan will provide. The ancestors will give you direction that if you are sincere, if you want to do it seriously, here is a way you can do it. You do it and you get the benefit of it. So, but at the same time, to answer your question, if it is not possible, it is not a papam that I am in a place where, because of my karmas, I have to go there. So there, Bhagavan also knows there are no priests and this fellow cannot perform the Shraddham and all. So it is, if somebody is not able to do it, there are ways. You will be, the ancestors will be getting the benefit of somebody in the family doing it. So they will also get the benefit. So you need not worry about it, that it is doing Hiranyam and all that. Hiranyam is there as a substitute where it is not possible to do it otherwise. As I told in the Vishnu Sahasranamam also, any chanting, we are supposed to take bath and then do it, correct? But Vishnu Sahasranamam, if you are sick, if you are not well, you can't take bath, you can chant Vishnu Sahasranamam even lying down on the bed. There is no harm. So our beauty of our culture is every rule is there. But for every rule, there is a practical exception which is given for us. But what we have started doing, many of us, using the exception as the rule, that is not acceptable. So just because you don't want to perform a Shraddham regularly, you just every time, even when you are able to do it, you just do it Hiranyam, that is not correct. But what priests do, they say at least this much he is doing, so let us help him do it. That is their attitude. They are not going to tell you, don't do this also. This fellow will stop doing that also. So at least their attitude is, let him at least do this much. And whatever punya that is there, let him earn that. That is what the Vadhyas, the priests and all, their attitude is. That is what it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, somebody was asking some other question. What was that?
Wanted to tell, see, a lot of people have fear. I've seen in our society, especially Brahmin society, and not having son is some papam. So there's nobody to offer, pitr, doing the last rites, and so. And also the Joshier also tells them, it's some papa karma, so do some prayashchitta, you might get a son. So that's not a correct thinking, right, Raghuji?
Getting son and all these things are all driven by so many factors, including your own past karmas or the past.
See, but when people Joshier do, it's out of fear. I mean, because of the fear of the people. Basically, it comes from the fear, right? Everything. Swamiji in one of the time said, Paramarthanandaji, lot of people do the rituals and Shraddha karma out of fear. Many, I'm not saying everybody, many do it out of fear. Oh, even in my family, I have seen some people, something will happen to me. I have to do this. And that's what...
Padmaji, the whole world works on fear only. Human beings work on fear.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You just see, we are seeing this, there is a huge fear generated there. Because of this corona, and then everybody is forced to do so many things.
Yes.
I'm not saying that is wrong, but if you don't generate that fear, people will not do it.
Yeah. But for some people, there has to be conviction. No.
Sorry.
Raghuji, for quite some of us, if there is a conviction, they will do it with Shraddha, right? Correct. If you have a conviction. Correct. Otherwise, is that,
That is, then the effect also will be that much only.
Yes. Okay. That's all I just wanted to.
The word Shraddha itself means you have to do it with Shraddha.
Yes. Exactly.
If you have no Shraddha, whatever you do, it will be like erma maatu mere thanni ootra they say, like
conviction illama pannalama. Conviction illama pandradhu okay.
Means because of this factor. See, many people do things because what other people will think. That is
exactly.
There is all sorts of people. I have seen people, I don't want to name them, they will do tarpanam and the photo and all Facebook. I did tarpanam. Why, whom are you doing tarpanam for your Facebook friends? That is such a funny thing. I tell you, so much comedy. Facebook I follow only for one thing. For the amount of joy I get. Husband and wife living in the same house. Happy birthday, my dear. I will write in the Facebook.
Guruji, I found your contact in the Facebook only.
Yeah, no. Everything in this world has got its benefits. It has got its funny corners.
Other Raghuji,
also.
Raghuji, I got so tired, I deactivated it. Now people are wondering where.
I don't post too many things. I don't actively partner, but I find these things very funny, amusing.
Yes.
The son is there. Happy birthday, my dear son. The morning she would have cursed him. Hey, get up in the morning. Today is your birthday. You're sleeping till 9 o'clock in the morning and all that. All that she would have cursed him in the morning. Then in the Facebook, my dear, happy birthday, this, that. Within the same house, don't you have an opportunity? You have to announce it necessarily on the Facebook that is happy birthday. These are funny things, but I enjoy it. So what I'm saying is, this Tarpanam also, you can know their attitude of doing Tarpanam the moment you see their all that photo and all in the Facebook. I did Tarpanam today. Every month they will without fail post the Tarpanam. This is their, there are
Yeah.
things got to do.
Guruji,
Varna Shankara had taken
This
place.
is the comedy. This is the comedy
Yeah.
of life. You have to enjoy
Yeah.
the comedy.
Yeah, just enjoy. So far as you are concerned, if you know what you are pursuing in your life, then everything else you can actually shield yourself against everything else, influence of all these things. Just enjoy. Nandati, Nandati, Nandati eva. Just look at the world, whatever it is, enjoy what is going on. Like you are watching a movie. That is what
Guruji,
yes.
Guruji, in this context, whether it is synchronicity or whether it is coincidence, the mention of a place in Bombay where you could go, where everything was provided and you could definitely. I was recently requested by the Hindu community here where we live to make a petition to the government to have a place where all Hindus could meet.
Very good.
And have these facilities. So I just wrote a petition and have sent it.
Very
So it gives me hope that these things will, they've been very kind, the funeral parlors, in allowing us to cremate and do our rites. But when it comes to fires and putting libations into the water, etc., they're a little hesitant. And so the first step has been taken here. Guruji.
See, what you can do is you can perform the homas in open air. Number one. Number two, you can dig a well there and use that well water for doing, for pindam, you can do that, all that rather. You can think of practical ways, and Shastra provides for everything rather. In fact,
Yes,
well
but
water is considered to be as pure and pious as a river water.
yeah,
So,
but the present population in the West doesn't understand that when the Pindadanam is done, it's done to the birds in the air, the fish in the water. And therefore, it's not an idea of getting rid of trash. It's an idea of sending oblations to our ancestors, etc. So that has to be made to be understood. So if you build a fire somewhere and do a homa, they'll think you're a pyromaniac. It's unsafe. So we have to be careful.
You need not make it a public kind of a thing. Only people who are connected with
at
that,
home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it can be done, but it's a major need for all Hindus.
I mean, I will be very happy. Everywhere it should be there, rather, this kind of a.
So I'll let you know if it fructifies.
It will. Don't worry. Have a sincere approach. Then, pray for that it should happen. It will happen. Don't worry about that. The totality will make it happen. Don't worry. Yeah. Thank you. Any more questions, please? Any more discussions? Any more topic? Otherwise, sorry.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Okay. So shall we meet next Saturday then? I'll close today.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om. Thank you.